Hello everyone! Welcome back again. Kirby1 here, and it's the Twin Plains. So, last episode was a bit of boring sitting around and waiting and prep work. This turn is going to be the final moves of that, and, well, not this turn. This set of turns is going to be the final move of that, and the last turn that I'm going to show you guys will be the results of opening moves into Inn's lands. So, a couple of short turns of not a lot of action on my part, and then the big battles. So, we'll start with our throne attempt into the Cerulean Sea. And we have, like I mentioned before, a lot of Shark Tribe, and apparently just the Amber Clan were just bodyguards. So, not as bad as it could have been, or as I thought. So, we're still putting up Foul Vapors, because there was enough to trigger gem usage after all. So that'll help clear these guys out more quickly. Ultimately, we do overcome, so there were not enough of them. And we kill them all, as well as a couple plants on the side. And as you can tell, Shark Tribe are, like I've mentioned before, pretty hard counter to unbuffed mannequins. The 100 that they had here got as many kills as they had almost, and we lost quite a few random chaff dudes, including one of these sacreds, which was silly. But oh well, we got the throne, and the throne in question is the outer throne. So yay, more magic, which is good-ish. It will be fun to play around with. However, once you get into Magic 4 territory in your Dominion, everything starts getting a chance of getting horror marked. So that can be a little dicey. So I might hold off on this until the end of the game. And like I mentioned before, we can just grow forts under here. So I am going to be building a lab, and we'll leave somebody down here for that. In addition to that, one other thing that I happened to notice when I took that throne this turn is that our undead troops are being killed by a holy force, which is, you know, a big pain in the butt. Which means my primary method of defense is not particularly valid once I own this throne, of just stacking it with a crap ton of mannequins and letting people sit outside the walls. So what I'm going to have to do is figure out an alternative to that, and we're moving our entire army away, and we'll just pretend like we don't have to worry about this for right now, which we kind of don't. Yis is underneath it, but he is quite busy, as we'll see shortly. And so yeah, speaking of seeing shortly, we'll get to that right now, but the Agartha and Yis decided to fight over this Crystal Fields province again, and Agartha hit first, wiping out the trolls without issue. But then this smallish group, that's a couple turns worth of Shard Guard, ran into the big old army of Morvarks, and I don't think they had enough from the last time that they fought, and so unfortunately did get overwhelmed. So, and I say unfortunately for Agartha, not for me so much, because as we recall, I'm going to have to be fighting them. Looks like there was a bit of a wraparound, although didn't do them super well because of Blade Wind, so they just powered through and bulldozed them. Most of them got away, but that's a lot more losses for Agartha this turn than for Yis. So that's a lot less Shard Guard I have to worry about, and Yis is still on the field and kicking. Speaking of, we can see that his capital is as of yet uncracked, although Relays is cracked, so maybe next turn we'll see a fun old battle right there, and we'll watch that if we get a chance. And so back to the mainland, we're setting up our moves, and like I mentioned to you last video, I have a general strategy of putting my troops into fronts and just sort of pushing in that direction. So what I've decided upon is sort of a little bit of that, but also some deception, because we've got 2 turns still before I can move into his lands offensively with non-stealthy troops. So I'm going to sort of be posturing on his border in as many places as I can with large groups, just to sort of make him want to put and position troops pretty much everywhere. So we're going to put a big group here of 200-ish guys. We're going to put a group here underwater, another 200, and 400 here by this throne, which will force him to commit some of his troops to defend that. And then we'll put some more 200 under here. So just the fact that he sees over 1,000 troops on his border will hopefully be getting him to wonder what he has to do. Not to mention, down here we've still got this force of 200, although this is mostly Zots. Yeah, about, oh, that's not going to do it. Let's see. About 150 Zots of the 200, so that's not a very particularly strong fighting force against his sacreds here. But it's meant to be intimidation factor. Meanwhile, we're seeding his lands with harpies and making sure that we see everything, and posturing stealth forces as well in a less intimidating manner to decide where we want to sneak. Problem is that most of his provinces have very strong and well-organized PD, which likely will get my troops caught and cause them to run away and not do any damage to him. So we're going to be playing pretty passively with this in the stealth troops regard. I think that's pretty much it for this turn. Just a couple more sites being found. I think this is Glamour, yeah, and then Earth. And then Research, we're going to Conjuration 5. Let's see what we get there. Elementals, Naiads we can get. Manticores we can do. Howl is going to be really good. And then Alteration 5, because we just want more alteration stuff. Oh, we can get Mother Oak. I've just been putting that off for forever because I've been using all my gems to put into nature, growing forts, and boosting up my economy. I don't think there's a whole lot of competition for Mother Oak quite yet, so not super worried about it. Anyways, let's move on to the next turn. Turn 32. Alright, turn 32 is here, and we do indeed have a big old battle in Relay, and so let's watch that for the funsies, because I basically don't do anything this turn. Underwater, it looks like they both decide to stick to the tried and true method of water elemental spam. Relay gets to hold the gate, and I don't see any body ethereals going down on any water elementals, so there's just a lot of, well, there's a couple. Gift of Formlessness, Body Ethereal, Quickness, maybe there's something. But, oh, here's some Body Ethereal stuff. The Illithids wind up running right in and through the walls, which is arguably actually quite bad for them. They can do well enough against the water elementals because they don't have magic weapons and they do blunt damage, which against Illithids actually have blunt resistance, so they care a little bit less about that. But yeah, it's doing damage to them, but they're also going to be taking casualties. Now, one of the benefits of Dominion 6 for fort defenders now is that if any of them retreat when they are in a fort that is under siege, they don't actually die like they used to in Dominions 5. So, if Relay wins, which it certainly looks like they are winning, they're going to keep all these guys, even though they ran away. So, it's coming close, but Atlantis is already routed, and somebody's water elementals are dissolving, which it looks like they're Atlantis's, because Relay is still here, mind blasting the crap out of people. So yeah, Relay holds this time. And the losses are a crap ton of water gems from everybody. Probably all of Relay's water gems at this point, if I had to guess. And 250 plus of recruitable chaff on the Atlantis side, and only one mage, so that's pretty good. All their greater othernesses, though, so that's a pain in the butt. And yeah, bunch of meteorite guards and illithids, which they're not going to be able to recruit any more of because they're still under siege. Like a smart person, Atlantis left some guys on the outside, so Relay's going to have to decide if they want to break siege or not, depending on what else they see of Atlantis's in the area. But good on them, still alive and kicking. The other really notable thing is that, well, aside from our Dead Prophet's power leaving the world so we can make a new one for Holy 4, is this province gets hit by, you guessed it, more werewolves. The interesting thing about this is that they were actually hiding werewolves. This was not an event that happened this turn. This actually happened a while back when we had one of those wolves are howling events, and it seeded this province with these werewolves, and they got patrolled out. And they got patrolled out because my dominion has double thrones that give PD bonus for free, and so my PD's steadily been creeping up, and I had mages outside searching, and I happened to lose a Dryad Hag and a Panic Apostate to some dumb werewolves. And not to mention the fact that it is a site has 2 gems that I've lost as well. I am in the process of beginning a war with Ind, so I honestly can't be bothered with this, and as irritating as it is, I'm just going to leave it and maybe have Agartha take care of it for me instead, and it'll at least, if he doesn't decide to do that, create a bottleneck that he has to go through very, very slowly in this direction around to get to my cap. So yeah, that is really dumb and annoying, but oh well. Yeah, wolves everywhere. So let's continue and check out where we're at. So we've got a lot of troops here. I'm gonna continue the fake out and move all of my troops here to double threaten here and here. I am sneaking one tiny group of centaurs of not very much importance into here to see if they get patrolled out, and then if they don't, then I can go attack here or maybe further in and see from there. I've also got a couple of guys on hide and wait here, a bunch of sacred black centaurs, and I can hit here. I've decided not to sneak in because again, they might get patrolled out, and that would be a waste, especially at this point. We've got 1 turn left, so that means next turn are orders. So we are hiding and waiting so he doesn't see us hide and wait that way, and know that we are, well, I guess he sees all of this and is like, maybe he'll hit this province, but he has to protect everywhere, basically. I don't have anybody here because I don't want to be too threatening to Agartha. But I am going to be stationing troops in this fort so that we can have a big old stare down in this area. And I'm going to be putting a fort in this province as well. I just am going to kind of ignore the fact that my throne will get taken and let him do it so that he has a target that I don't care about to focus on, and maybe distract him while I finish Ind off as quickly as possible and then turn on him. So yeah, those are my plans, and I think that's pretty much it. So let's get into the next turn where we will see the moves as I scripted them. Alright, here we go. Turn 33, I believe it is, and we have a lot of magic sites. We found 2, 4, 7, yep, the Grey Mountains, interesting. Now the Cerulean Sea was the throne province that I took, so there's that Pillar of Life. That's the one that's going to be killing my undead. You'll notice that it's not telling me that anymore because I've moved them all out there. Oh, 8 provinces. Oh, Well of Pestilence, love it. I actually do, because I want more death gems, and I'll just ignore it and not care that my undead get diseased, but good to know that it's there at least. Double Enchanted Tower, I think that is, actually I should go and take a look at that. Earth? Yeah, Earth. Great, love Earth. And then Mirror Lake, Veiled Tower, Invisible Tower. I think that's triple glamour sites. Glamour, wow, that's a lot. I think I never actually recruited this guy, the Illusionist, just because I already have basically Glamour 2, sort of. On my Pretender, yeah, plus this guy. Occasionally you pick up Glamour 2s on your Dryad Hags, which is why it's better to recruit them than to recruit these guys, because you are guaranteed Glamour 1. Anyways, lots and lots of magic gems. Let's see from the score graph how that shot me up. Yep, that's a lot of income. Love it. And the Well of Pestilence was right here. So yeah, this province. Actually, that's a pretty good place for it. I have a lot of crap here that, well, the Minotaurs. But I won't be staying there very long, so I don't care super much. I'll be going straight in. So as far as going straight in, we're going to hit here with both of these. So this is a feint. I did sneak another group of, a smallish group of centaurs here, and we're going to hit deep raiding, which should be fine because even though I hit here, if I take this and or this, it will be tracing income back to my lands. I'm moving a double set of black centaurs in here to this province, which he has some guys there, but I suspect he's going to probably move them either here or here because I still have this massive stack right here. He has fully upgraded this to a fortress, but I don't think I'm going to be too worried. Fortress is 500 and I have over 700 siege strength, so that should be takeable pretty easily. One turn crack. And we are moving in with over 1,000 troops with 1,500 siege strength at this fort, which is well enough to one turn crack this as well. This one, not so much, I think. 800 versus 1,000. Yeah, so this will take 2 turns, but that's okay. If he doesn't move off of here, we'll pin a good portion of his troops here. And as for what we have scripted, we have these guys in the back, so we don't want them getting hit right away. These guys right behind a double line of troops. These guys on a flank to hit the side right here and then break that line that way. A couple of these guys are just sort of consolidating, so that's why they're in different formations, like these Sagittarians over here and these Sagittarians over here. And then aside from that, we don't have a lot of magic coming in. We're going to do Howl, which will be good disruption, and we're going to do Group Stone Skin right here on our carrion, our big carrion group. And then we're going to do Group Blur as well on these guys, and Blessing pretty much everywhere. It looks like I didn't bring a carrion lord with this group. So he's going to do Blessing, and he's going to do Regrowth right over here. Yep. So that these guys will get big old regen on this guy. 99 hit points, 120 hit points. That's great. 12 hit points a turn regen plus Group Stone Skin. That should be fine. And now as for this fort, we are going to have apparently some unscripted guys, because I'm dumb. Yeah, I think I just forgot that part. My bad. I might have done that later on, but oh well, it's kind of fine. I have Relief scripted, which is probably unnecessary. Divine Blessing, a bunch of moss bodies, a bunch of backup gems here. What else? Howl, Twilight. Twilight will allow me to do things like extra luck on discount cost, things like that. A bunch of regrowth. We're throwing all the regrowth down here. And the reason is because our battlefield regrowth here is with our prophet right over here. And he's going to be hitting the throne here. So that will be another Howl. And Foul Vapors is on this stack here, as well as Divine Blessing, and then this just on repeat. Carrion Growth is the battlefield wide, but magic resistance negates easily on friendlies only, which means that it's sort of like that Ulm version of the magic resist buff that they get, so you just want to cast it on repeat so that he can hit as many guys as possible. What else? Yeah, so that's that. I think this should be fine. This should do well. And we are sending this group in here, sneaking. They didn't get caught, and we're sending a bunch of guys into this province. These guys are doing Barkskin and Touch of Madness, and I have them kind of scattered all over the place. So this group will hold an attack, this group, and this group is unscripted. I think I should have held an attack there. And then these are some Centaur archers, which are going to do fire and keep distance and hopefully draw some people this way and around so that these guys can then go around that flank that way. It's not as good for centaurs because they do not have the fire and move trait like some horse archers do, but it's good enough. I don't really care if they do a whole lot of damage. And then down here, I'm doing a ping. I'm just having him attack, and I'm leaving these guys here. He may wind up attacking me here, but I don't mind because I've got a crap ton of stuff. And so I changed to Minotaurs, and the Minotaurs are just going to, if I do go in here or fight his human-sized troops, they're going to be shock troops that just bum rush his formation, break it up, and maybe rush the gate, stuff like that. So that's the plan, as complex and detailed as it is. So we'll see how it plays out next turn. But before we move on, we will catch a couple of other things. That's just a harpy that was discovered here. Not any interesting events. And then there was another battle in Relay. This one is actually Relay breaking siege. Now, what's interesting about break siege, because as you recall, he was actually under siege still, so he's not patrolling. But I could have sworn, at least from a pretender's perspective, that if you break siege, you can't break siege with an immobile because they, because they will, because they're immobile. And so you can either patrol with them, like a immobile pretender, or, well, teleport or whatever, but if, yeah, or just stay in your fort. These guys are things from beyond, which I know for a fact are immobiles, and he happens to be bringing with them in a break siege battle, and I suspect because they are either attached to some commander or possibly on bodyguard. I'm not sure, but that was an interesting thing to discover. Not sure if that's a bug or not, but it's interesting nonetheless. Now there's quite a lot here from Atlantis, who moved back on the fort, but I don't see any water gems, so he, well, there's a few. There's a couple of elementals coming out, but not a ton, so he maybe had some on a sneaky scout, but he might also not have. Meanwhile, we've got a bunch of body ethereal meteorite guard, which is very strong, plus a bunch of evocations, things like slime going down, and just generally stuff that the mages with the communion are doing over here. And they're actually holding on really well and doing a lot of damage. They do break eventually, and the Atlanteans get to the mage line here, at which point the Illithids move in, and they're all body etherealed and have twist fade and all that kind of bark skin and stuff, and they're coming in to hold the line, and they actually do hold the line and push Atlantis back barely with massive losses. But now Relay's cap is no longer under siege, and they can maybe recruit something. I don't even know if they have any gold left at this point, but good for them. Still kicking with their little tentacle feet. Alright. On the cave layer, not a lot of movement. We don't see anything from pretty much any of the other nations. Looks like Agartha has put this back under siege successfully somehow. Not sure if they won that or not. I must have missed something. But there's also some indie event flag here, apparently. And then on the water layer, Yis's fort is cracked. So in addition to all of our battles, we might get to see a fun Yis fort battle as well. But other than that, I don't really see anything else going on. So let's go to the fun part, turn 34. Here we go. Turns out I was the one to begin the war with a massive movement of initiative, and Gartha is going to be coming in pretty shortly thereafter at a later date, but we hit him pretty much everywhere, and at a point like this, I like to just go and see what succeeded and what failed, and then we will discover why. So in terms of end, since I detailed to you what the battles were going to be, we hit here successfully, here, yes, there, and there. This is broken, and this is broken, and this one is not as we expected. This one failed, and that is a really, really bad sign because that was like two substantial stacks of sacreds, and so he wound up, I think, not moving with whatever he had there. Now, we thankfully do a lot of damage still, twice as many kills as we had, but that's all 29 Black Centaurs lost, and that is actually a big loss for us because we are not recruiting a lot of them anymore, so each one of these hurts quite a bit. But I think because of our Bless being larger, we have a not super great attack density, and so I think we just got overwhelmed in terms of archery, which he has a lot of crossbows, and just numbers harassment down, and we don't have a lot of protection. So that was sad, but at least we dealt him a lot of damage. As far as here goes, apparently he decided to move in with a bunch of stuff, 120 kind of random groups of soldiers, mostly archers again. But we just demolished that with many more centaurs than last time. So these guys get into the front and distract them, and the rest clean up. So that's good for us. This was a whole lot of nothing burger, and same with this. PD is not really going to stop centaurs of any variety. You're going to need a lot more PD than that. And here there was a whole lot of nothing, so he wasn't patrolling, just PD. I don't think we triggered gem usage. No, thankfully not, so no foul vapors there. And then here was a lot more PD. So we're going to probably have been triggering gem usage here. But, yep, but that's okay because it was an easy kill and we have backup gems. So we have re-equipped our troops so that we can do the storming of the fort. Although if he does decide to break siege, that will probably clear out all of our gems first, and then we won't have any for the storm, which I'm not sure if I'm super concerned about. It probably won't make much of a difference. It certainly won't here because we have stocked up a little bit extra. But we are moving some more harpies in, I think. I suspect we would. Maybe not. Maybe we're just overconfident about winning this battle completely. So don't do that. Always have backup plans. Now, this is annoying. Remember that Well of Pestilence province? This is a lot of gems, by the way. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gem province. This is more than a cap. We need to take this back, and so we will. Pretty much promptly. I'm not sure if this would be enough. I mean, it is just wolves, you know, the bane of my existence, but probably enough. It is just wolves. So I'm relatively confident that that can clear that out. Aside from that, we're moving here, here, here. Gonna leave this because I don't know where he's gonna go with it, and so I'm just gonna kind of ignore it for now. And we're going on his cap with a lot of stuff. I have not seen him patrolling. Oh, here, he patrols here, but doesn't really help that much. Let's see how our big old stack of guys does here. So these guys can get to be quite tanky boys. I don't know if I actually hit a whole lot of stuff with my buffs here. It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, weird. Oh, there was a guy. Yeah, that's a good guy. Protection, 14, 100 hit points, regen. That's alright. Well, anyways, it was plenty sufficient to wipe these guys out. Bunch of tramplers hitting his lines. These guys, they look enlarged, honestly. Well, maybe it's just the angle of view. But oh well. Anyways, we win. Not that many losses. Not that many losses from him either, to be honest. Might not have been remembering what turn the end was going to come of the nap. So yeah, but we are prepared, and we have got him basically on lockdown. Now, in addition to that, we are going to be hitting this. We didn't see him patrolling with anything here, and I suspect that a bunch of guys that he brought from here moved up here, and that's why we caught them here with this. Either that or they came from here. But either way, I feel confident enough that we have a sufficient force, especially with Howl, and we brought a couple extra shades as well as clockwork horrors, and they'll be front and center on attack, so I think this will probably take 100 of his guys. With Howl, should be fine. Bunch of horde of skeletons and various buffs. This is probably mage overkill. We're going to be hurting on research a bit right now, but we're still at over 1,000 research, so it's fine. Let's see, what else is going on? So down here, not a lot of moves from me, but I am moving a group here. So I'm already planning for where I suspect Agartha's going to move. I'm going to move a big stack here to look intimidating. I honestly don't think that this is necessarily going to do a whole lot, but maybe I can put a lab down here and just hold it from him with a couple of guys with gems stocked and yeah, basically just look intimidating. Aside from that, on the Agartha border, we're just pushing more troops into this fort here, patrolling out any of his scouts that he has, and making big moves on the border. Oh yeah, and our pretender woke up. Was that this turn? Might have been last turn. Yeah, I guess I didn't make a note of that. My bad. Anyways, welcome to the Dance of the Hours. We are starting to make dwarven hammers just because those are helpful, and we're going to then churn out whatever else we want for items later on. Aside from that, I've just given her some random crap that I have lying around of items. And yeah, so we see a little bit of build-up on his border. The magma children are going to be a big pain in the butt for me fighting in his dominion. So again, I kind of want him to come at me first, so I don't have to worry as much while I finish off Ind. And then, yeah, we'll see where he moves. Whatever he does, I'm not super worried about it. I'm so big at this point that little pot shots and poking is not going to be the end of the world for me. I just need to figure out where his doom stack is going to be and then decide how I can kill it. So that's why I prefer for him to come to me for right now. And yeah, that is that. Now, there was one other thing. We had a battle in Yis and another battle in Relay. So this is Agartha clearing out some barbarians underground, as well as some more stuff from Yis. We'll take a look at the battle from Relay. I don't know, was he patrolling? Looks like he was not. So that's going to be another long time for Atlantis to siege this down, because he has fully recovered his fort strength, I suspect. So good on Relay. And as far as Yis goes, this is a storming of Yis, and there are quite a few Morvarks in here, and it doesn't actually look like that much from Oceania, although these no, they're not his sacreds. These are his sacreds. And his bless is, as I recall, yeah, fear and heroism. So that would be good if he does bottle up the gate, because the fear will benefit him. There's a lot of stuff in the gate right now. Now, more elementals on as well on his side. I think these are the small elementals, actually. No elementals on Yis's side, though, even though he does have quite a bit of mages there. Now, what the interesting difference about this battle is that we have quite a lot of these Water 4 or Water 3 mages are going to be on Advanced Cast, and they are going to nuke the gate with Water Strike. And you can see that is actually doing quite a lot of damage all over this area. And the same is not being said about the side on Oceania, although there are a bunch of glamour magics, but they're a little bit more inaccurate because of the distance on them. So that's interesting. Both sides are sort of bottled up on the gate here. And we see some phantasmal beasts here holding the line as well. But a lot more damage was done by evocations from the Oceania side. That, coupled with the fear auras from his sacreds, looks like it managed to turn the tide. And because Oceania actually wins this battle against Yis, all these guys are dead. Everybody in here that retreated is dead, dead, dead. So that is great for Oceania, but as I like to say, not super great for me, because I'm watching all these battles and saying, wish that Yis would have won that battle so that there's more attrition for my future potential enemies. But now, unfortunately, Oceania has a citadel underwater to recruit their Capricorns from as well, so they're going to be hitting a bit of a power spike right there with that win. So congratulations, Oceania, on the comparatively painless victory. A bunch of algae men and a bunch of sea dogs, but other than that, only 3 of his sacreds, none of his mages, and a bunch of water gems, but it is what it is. So yeah, that is our, quote-unquote elfing of Ind. Not complete elfing, but we have done significant damage, and 2 of his forts are cracked, one of them a throne, which doesn't have a whole lot in the area that can reinforce it. So next turn, we will see the reaction from Ind and what Agartha decides to do in order to enter the war on Inside, and see where we go from there. So thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day.